Language is a phenomenon that we human beings have that truly sets us apart from other life forms on this planet. With that said, there are many languages spoken and that have been spoken in the past. But which ones are currently the most spoken languages in the world? Let's find out right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Leroy Kenton. Welcome back to another episode. Now, I created a list of 10 of the most spoken languages in the world. But before I get into this episode, though, this video is based on native speakers of each of these languages and not languages that are used the most in general, because people learn multiple languages that are different from the language that they first learned. So this episode again may come as a surprise because I'm just looking at the most spoken languages based on native speakers. So let's take a look. The language at number 10 is Western Punjabi, aka Landa. Estimates of around 118 million native speakers are for this language, and it is a Pakistani language that primarily includes Western Punjabi. Now that doesn't even include Eastern Punjabi, which is also spoken in India. Now, Punjab was divided by the British back in 1947, and millions of people had to be forced to leave their homes, but the group has continued to increase. Also, Punjabi music has gained massive popularity, not just in Pakistan, but also in India and around the world now. Next up, we have Japanese at number 9 with 128 million native speakers. Almost all of the 128 million native speakers live in Japan, which makes Japanese the highest geographically concentrated language that's going to be featured in this episode. Japanese has two writing systems. The first one is called hiragana, and then the second one is called katakana. They also use the Chinese kanji characters. Now, in other parts of the world, the biggest collections of Japanese speakers can be found in the United States, the Philippines, and over in Brazil. We move over into Russia, Mother Russia, at number 8 with 153 million native speakers. Russian is an East Slavic language of a wider Indo-European family. Now, Russian is the 8th most spoken language in the world based on native speakers, of course. Russian is used officially, or at least in day-to-day life, in all of the post-Soviet nation states. Large numbers of Russian speakers can also be found in various other countries like Israel and even Mongolia. It's also one of the 6 languages spoken in the United Nations. Portuguese, they have 220 million native speakers. The spread of the Portuguese language is due in part to colonialism. Well, it's due a lot to that, actually. Now, in the 15th century, the Portuguese brought their language to different parts of Africa, Asia, and the Americas. As the Portuguese colonized other countries, they then began to develop their own version of the language. And Portuguese is now spoken in countries like Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, as well as many other countries, all of which have like their own variation of the Portuguese language, some very completely different than others. But moving on now to number 6, we have Bengali with 228 million native speakers. The partition of Bengal by the British happened in the year 1947, and it divided the mainly Hindu West Bengal, now part of India, from its mainly Muslim counterpart, which was East Bengal, now known as Bangladesh. Now, it is a language of Kolkata as well as the Andaman Islands, and it's also the language of 100 plus million Bangladeshis. The Bengali alphabet is believed to have evolved from the modified Brahmic script from around 1000 CE. We've looked at 5 languages so far, but before we continue in the last 5, this is a reminder to subscribe, and that's to all of you who just found FTD Facts and have been thinking about it. There's nothing to think about. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. We bring you videos daily, and you get to learn about the world. You get to learn about cultures, religions, learn about people. It's a good way to spend your time, especially in quarantine. I'm not just saying that because it's my channel. I'm just saying that because that's the fact. FTD Facts. We just bring facts. Yeah. And whether you're new here or you're a regular viewer, don't forget to leave a like on this video. It really does help show your support, and it helps more people see these episodes as well. Now, back to the episode. Number 5, we have Arabic. Arabic has 315 million native speakers, and this is all based on recent numbers. Arabic, like Chinese, is so different in its dialects, so there are many forms of Arabic, but at its root, Arabic is a Semitic language that first came about in the 1st to the 4th century CE. Now we have modern standard Arabic, and that's a primarily written form, and it's closely related to the classic Arabic of the Quran. The Hindi language comes in at number 4 with 341 million total native speakers. India has many languages, with Hindi as the most dominant one, but Hindi is spoken mainly in the northern part of India as well as different parts of Pakistan as well. Now, Hindi is written in the Devanagari script, and it's one of the 2 official languages of the government of India along with the English language. So if you ever go and visit India, learning a little bit of Hindi is definitely going to be very beneficial. Also, Hindi cinema, aka Bollywood, is number 1 in the world by the number of feature films that it produces each year. Okay, so we finally made it to number 3, and that's English at 379 million native speakers. If you're watching this video, you most likely are a native English speaker, or at least one of the 753 million people who speak it as a second language. So when you compare it to Chinese, it's relatively easy to learn English. You can pick it up a lot easier, and as well as the influence of American culture around the world really means that English will continue to be a dominant force when it comes to language all across the world for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I don't see the growth of English going down anytime soon. English is by far the most commonly studied foreign language in the entire world. And for many people, just learning English, it's actually synonymous for having a better life and opening up more opportunity in life. And I still hear people sometimes saying like, oh my God, I hate the English language. My language is so much more beautiful. And you could be right. Sure, I'm not going to debate that, but it's no doubt that learning English really opens up a lot of doors right now, especially just in our world. That's just the way it is right now. Another language that opens up a lot of doors for people is Spanish, with 460 million total native speakers. They come in at number 2. As with all of the languages that I featured in this episode, there's a lot of politics attached to it, as well as how people associate with that language and people's opinions about the language. It's all debatable and whatever. But definitely Spanish is certainly a primary language of most of Central America, Spain, of course, and large parts of the United States. Learning Spanish in many cases is seen as a status symbol also. Spanish is one of the 6 languages of the United Nations, and it's also used as an official language by the European Union, as well as the Organization of American States, the Union of South American Nations, the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, the African Union, and many other organizations internationally. So you'll often find people doubling up. They're learning English and Spanish, even French, but French isn't in this episode because it doesn't make it when it comes to native speakers, by the way. I know some of you may have been expecting to see French on this list. Now we got one more spot. At number 1, we have Chinese with 1.3 billion native speakers. And that's according to the latest estimates. Again, every number in this episode, they're all estimates, by the way. It's impossible to really verify to 100%, but they're pretty accurate for the most part. So Chinese is a group of languages, and roughly 917 million of them speak Mandarin. But there is no doubt that it is the most spoken language in the world, period. Chinese, like I mentioned, it's a blanket term because there are many Chinese languages, and the varieties of these Chinese languages are usually considered by native speakers to be regional variations. However, due to the degree in which the languages vary, they are generally viewed as distinct languages. Chinese is a tonal language, so grasping it fully will be a nice little challenge for you. So that's it for this episode, guys. Those were 10 of the most spoken languages in the world by native speakers. Be sure to sound off down below in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts about anything that I shared. Were there any other languages that you expected to see in this episode, or were you surprised to see some of the languages that I featured in this episode? Let me know all your thoughts down below. My social media links are below in the video description section. I'll also leave you with a recommended episode. It's going to be at this end screen, so enjoy that one. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys next time.